The Colts go to the Chargers, and yet another chance to prove that the early season success is not a fluke based on, playing some weaker teams. I don't believe that. I promise Colts fans. But nevertheless, they go to play in SoFi Stadium against the Chargers, who are pretty beat up right now, but did pull out a big win last week, thanks to Justin Herbert and Ladd McConkey. The Chargers are favored at home by 1.5. Sanders, what are your thoughts on this game as the resident Chargers fan?
First of all, I'd like to say that I got called out for being a fake Chargers fan on Tuesday's show because I guessed the spread to be Colts by 3.5. I'm pretty sure that y'all said it was at the Colts. I'd have to go back and watch, but I was making that guess under the...
Well, then it's more fake fan to you that you didn't know the Chargers were at home this week.
But when I said, is it at Indianapolis, and one of y'all goes, yes, I'm going to assume that because you confirmed it that it is in Indianapolis. So that's why I made that pick. I was mistaken.
I can neither confirm or deny. I confirmed or denied that it was at Indianapolis. So
yeah, way to cover your butt there. Kamani Vidal had a great week last week
against the Dolphins.
I would have a great week against the Dolphins.
I don't expect that to happen again this week. I know he's been a waiver wire addition. I know JP has added him via waiver wires. So
why wouldn't you?
Why would you not? I don't expect the same kind of performance.
I don't need the same kind of performance.
You just need a little something.
Yeah.
That to say, the Colts have been really hot, which is why I thought they would be favored. And they would be favored on a neutral site right now because in the NFL it's what, 2.5, 1.5,
2.5.
So they would be favored neutral site right now. The defense against the defense has looked really good for the first part of the season, and then it has kind of fallen apart over the last couple games, not looking as great, especially against the Commanders. I didn't get to watch the Commanders game, but from what I heard, it was a big struggle. JP going so far as to say that the Chargers are just really bad or bad. That was I thought it was funny that
it was a really bad performance.
It was it was a bad showing.
There's a reason they're on tier 5 of the pyramid.
Something like that, yeah. They are lower down for sure.
Colts are higher than them.
Yeah. I just don't know. The Colts still feel like a weird team, kind of like we were just talking about BYU. The Colts, the teams they've played thus far, they beat the Dolphins, they beat the Broncos in a very close game, and the Broncos have not looked good this season. They beat the Titans, they lose to the Rams, and then beat the Raiders and Cardinals. So they're 5-1, kind of being held up by a bad schedule through 6 games. And they have looked dominant in some of those wins. Daniel Jones has looked good, and that it's been Jonathan Taylor has looked really good as well.
It's not really some of their wins. It's really all of their wins.
Yeah. Other than the Broncos when they won by 1.
They still scored 29 points against that defense.
Yeah. So I guess offensively they've looked dominant.
Yeah. And Jonathan Taylor's leading the league in rushing.
Yeah.
And that's honestly been the Chargers' strong suit defensively these past couple of weeks in terms of Achane popped y'all for a couple, which
he does that to almost everybody.
Yeah, but then Bill Krosky-Merritt gets you all the business and then turns around and can't run against the Chicago Bears.
Yeah.
So I'm a little worried personally for what Jonathan Taylor may do
I am also
in Los
worried.
Angeles on Sunday.
Yeah, it's our only Sunday game that we're previewing. But, JP, what are your thoughts going into the game?
I disagree with your analysis. I think the Colts are a really good team. I think that's just point blank what they are. It's not their fault that they've played the teams that they've played, but it is their fault that they have sent those teams home really sad because they got their butt kicked in by Jonathan Taylor and Daniel Jones. Remember, this is a team that had not punted through 2.5 weeks of the season. Yeah. They continue to score and score and score. In the games they've played against on par competition, they are 1-1. And a lot of people like to say oh, well, if the leverage penalty didn't happen, the Broncos would have won. Well, it happened and they didn't win. And good teams find ways to win, even in ways like that. Kansas City was in that same argument last year, and they were all the way in the Super Bowl. So, not that the Colts are going to be the Super Bowl, but the Colts are good. The Colts are damn good, and their ability to run the ball, Jonathan Taylor, and then use the weapons that they have, they've been really, really good. Tyler Warren has been incredible. They've been using him all over the field. He'll line up in the backfield. He'll line up as a wide receiver. He'll line up in the slot. He has 40 receiving yards or more from the backfield, from the slot, and from lined up as a normal wide receiver out wide. So they've been using him productively in those spots as well.
They've been using him correctly.
Correct. They got the Swiss Army knife, and they've been using him as such. And then their receivers have been great as well. Michael Pittman Jr., Josh Downs, Alec Pierce. The one, down spot has been Adonai Mitchell. He's the fourth wide receiver on the team.
Yeah, which, going back real quick to interrupt us, talking about, okay, maybe the Broncos win. Yeah, they got a little lucky. But then, you have the flukiness of the Adonai Mitchell stuff in the game before, or not the game before, but against the Rams that really makes you lose that game. So
Yes.
it's okay, well, then you just flip those. Doesn't really matter.
And he has the holding penalty where they score a touchdown. Those things can be flipped either way in those games. So I just don't think the Colts are a bad team or held up by an invalid schedule. I think that argument could be made against, the Steelers, because the Steelers have beaten a backup quarterback in Carson Wentz, arguably the worst starting quarterback in the NFL in Dylan Gabriel, Justin Fields and the Jets, and they only beat him by 2 points in a shootout. I think that argument could be made about the Steelers. And then the one game they played against a really good team, they got blasted by Seattle at home. That's where I think that argument is workable. I don't think it's there for the Colts. They've been scoring points against everyone. They scored a bunch against Denver. So even the Chargers defense, I don't think they'll fear whatsoever. So I think the Colts are going to be in this game. Because of that, like where the spread is at 1.5. I think this would be a Colts team favored, given how last week went, and how these past 3 weeks have gone.
Sure.
For Indianapolis and Los Angeles. This just feels like you need a Herbert superhero moment. And he's had a few of those already this year.
He had one against Miami.
He had one against Miami, and then he had one earlier against the Denver Broncos, right?
I feel like he also had a couple against the Chiefs, or at least he had a really good day.
Definitely had a really good day against the Chiefs, and I think you need that from
for sure, I agree.
From Justin Herbert in this game with the running back issues there. So I for me, I think this is a pick 'em. I think this is going to be a really good game. I like this game a lot, and I think it'll tell a really big story.
Sure.
Especially for Indianapolis. If they're able to win this game, then everyone just flips on their head and oh, the Colts are really good, by the way. You're too late to the party. It's too late for that.
The bus is full.
I feel the same way about Seattle when people are going to say Seattle's great in about a month. Sorry, bro. I had that at the beginning of the season.
And if the Colts lose this and it turns out they were just a benefactor of a bad schedule, what do we do? What do you do then?
It depends on how the game goes.
Yeah.
I think 5-2 still, though, is really good.
Yeah.
I want to say I was wrong in how I felt about them coming into the season. I think we all were. The Colts just find ways to win games, and they always have. They've been above 500 so many years running. And I know, Larry tried to tell us that when we were doing the preview there as well. Or I think that might have been in the draft coverage.
Sure.
So they've surprised me. But now that I've seen them, I think they are one of those better teams in the league. Question, will they have a home field advantage in Los Angeles? Are you sure?
I don't think they will.
I don't know.
It could be completely possible.
I mean, they got a lot better chance than they did against whoever it was, the teams in the West. That's a long way for Indianapolis fans to travel.
Sure.
It's a lot better than San Francisco or Las Vegas or something.
Well, the Chargers are favored by 1.5. I'm going to go and start it off, and I think the Colts win this game. I think Jonathan Taylor has a big day, and I think Justin Herbert does his best, but it's, 31-27 win or something like that for the Colts.
Yeah. I will be picking a Chargers cover. Chargers win. I'll take a good game from the guy hanging on the wall right now behind Jack. So I will be going with the Chargers to cover.
I'm taking the Colts.
Sure.
This is our team
We bleed blue.
for the shoe. Give me the Colts to win and cover, of course, the 1.5 points. I think Daniel Jones gets their kind of marquee win at this point in the season, and then they kind of look forward, and it's kind of then you question when are they going to lose because they don't play really anyone until Week 12. They'll play at Kansas City. And yes, that is how low I think of the Atlanta Falcons, who they'll play Week 10, I believe, in Germany. Give me the Colts.
All right.
6-1 Colts.
Crazy.
To beat the Chargers, who are all of a sudden 4-3 and terrible once again.
And Kansas City's right there.
So maybe you should have actually stuck with Denver as your pick.